Gathering my stealth magic, I cloaked and descended the stairs, entering the fray with weary reluctance. Golden light filtered through the turning leaves outside the great expanses of smooth glass in the foyer walls. Arched recesses offered access to the gardens, but most of my guests lingered within the space bound by glass and columns. The walls were designed to meld the gardens, groves, and front drive outside the great gilt doors with the elegant interior. Marble tile floors, arched ceilings, and eggshell-surfaced columns created the illusion that the room lacked walls. Potted ferns and flowering bushes crowded every nook and clustered about the base of each column to decrease the clamour of a multitude of sounds bouncing off the hard surfaces. And under all the cacophony, the splashing tinkle of the fountains flanking the grand staircase relentlessly added to the pandemonium. I was of the mind to turn them off, but it would scandalise Bartle if I did. Why not show off their engineering? As I passed through the throng of Unseelie greeting each other, I mentally isolated out different conversations. They varied from gossip, flirting, and chatter to planning of business negotiations. Noting who was attempting to speak with whom, I kept moving, relying on my inherent stealth magic to keep out of sight. Without it, I would have been a very noticeable 6.5-foot creature with curly black hair, dusky skin, and grey eyes, dressed all in black. While I was uncloaked, most found me intimidating, an impression I used to my advantage. The fact I kept myself aloof and my appearance impeccable helped as well. Acting the part of a barely contained beast worked well when dealing with the Unseelie king and fulfilling his excessive tastes in wine, food, and frivolity. Whenever I decided enough was enough, I tapped my inherent intimidating magic and dropped a bit of my facade of culture and control. But this was not the time. This year's turnout for my annual gala in the King's honour promised to be the most impressive yet. The whole court was attending. The inns and rentable rooms for miles around had been sold out for months. Almost every Unseelie noble from the King's court had already arrived. Younglings of multiple species wove through clusters of elegant nymphs, sirens, sprites, goblins, ogres, pixies, and fairies of every size and rank. Then I noticed her, the singular human, a female, small even for her species, hid among the ferns at the foot of one of the massive pillars supporting the soaring ceiling. Dressed simply, she watched the crowd with wary attention, burrowing deeper into the plant's accommodating fronds every time a guest wandered near her hiding place. Curious, I meandered that way. Slipping around the far side of the pillar, I settled in the deepest shadows of the plant next to her fern and sat my back against the stone. She had chosen a good spot for spying. Most of the foot traffic flowed around this central point, but few of the passers-by glanced in our direction.